Okay, so this movie's called Demolition Man, and it's another weird Hollywood movie where they seem to get the good guy and the bad guy mixed up again for some unknown reason. 'Cause there's this one guy, and it's Wesley Snipes, and he seems to be a cool guy, just up for a laugh and having a good time or whatever. He's a cool dude. And then there's this other guy, Sylvester Stallone, and he's like the very epitome of a bad cop and everything. It's like police brutality don't mean shit to this guy. I mean, he's like the personification of everything that's wrong with modern day policing, you know? And like, there's another way in which this movie is really weird, because it's set in the modern day, but it was written in 1993 or something. And so like, normally, whenever movies do this and predict a short time into the future, it always ends up really embarrassing, because they get it so far from being fucking right. But like, the weird thing about this movie is, they hit the nail on the fucking head. They do a fucking cracking job of predicting what the 2020s are like. I mean, Los Angeles is a war-torn hellhole, and the rest of the world has become a woke nightmare where you can't swear an excessive amount or use crude and vulgar language all the fucking time without some asshole being a cunt about it for no bastard reason at all. Just being a fucking knobhead. Shit. Anyway, let's get on with the review or we'll be here all fucking day. So, like, old Sylvester Psycho Cop decides he's going to bungee jump down to break up some illegal warehouse rave or something. No fucking warrant or nothing, you know. And he goes about the place beating the shit into people, and he don't know how to run properly at all. And he finds Wesley Snipes, and like, just to fuck up his little party, he only goes and blows the fucking building up, doesn't he? Which is, like I say, why he's the personification of a shitty fucking cop. So he gets into a shitload of trouble, and the court decides that it's going to turn him into a fucking ice cube. Nah, I'm just going to skip right past that, because if I don't, again, I'll be here all fucking day. Because, like, you can't just turn people into ice cubes. That's not how the fucking justice system works. But, okay, that's all I'll say about it. So let's just move on. So, like, it turns out that Wesley Snipes also got into a shitload of trouble for holding that illegal rave or whatever. And I gotta say, what's the worst out of those two? Holding an illegal rave party or blowing the fucking building up? Anyway, like I say, this film is accurate as fuck. And the police are a bunch of racist bastards, so they've gone and locked Wesley Snipes up after all. But the black community don't help itself too much, does it? And Wesley Snipes has only gone and started dressing like a fucking shower curtain or something, which is weird as fuck, and ain't exactly gonna fucking help him, is it? Anyway, he tries to make things a bit more cultural by being bilingual, and the prison guy is like, don't speak fucking Spanish to me. And so, like, Wesley Snipes is sick of all the racist cops and shit, so he just breaks the fuck out of there and beats the shit out of the cops and shit, and then he just bounces the fuck out of there. And, like, this movie really does predict just exactly how things are in the modern day. Because the police are all sat round in this swanky posh control room, and, like, there's murders going on all around the city and shit, and they're all just sat there watching it and not doing a fucking thing about it. So, like, Wesley Snipes goes out, dressed like Dennis the Menace now. Like I say, I ain't saying nothing. But it turns out he wants to go ahead and kill Dennis Leary. So, like, fuck. If you want any more proof that he's the fucking good guy in this movie, just go watch an hour of Dennis Leary stand-up and then watch an hour of Bill Hicks and you'll get the fucking point. Anyway, even though the cops won't move their fat asses to stop all the murders going on about the place, one black guy in public starts swearing and suddenly the cops show up. So, like I say, this film is right on fucking point. Anyway, quite rightly, Wesley Snipes is like, oh fuck this shit with all the racist cops and shit. And again, he just beats the living shit out of them. Which is like clearly where this film strays into fantasy, because in real life they'd have just shot him fucking dead. But whatever. Then we cut to this guy taking a video conference call, so they got that right too. But anyway, he's another guy this movie does dirty, because like, I don't know if it's because he's the one British guy in the movie or whatever, but he seems like a good guy to me, you know? Sneering, looking down his nose at people and all full of himself and shit. He seems like a fucking good guy to me. So the cops are all sat around watching YouTube or something, and they ain't got no idea how to stop Wesley Snipes at all. So what do they go and do? That's right, you guessed it. They go and defrost the most racist cop they can find, and they cut old Sylvester Stallone out of his ice cube. But again, then, instead of getting on with some honest police work, they all just stand around and do nothing, just talk shit to each other. And while this is going on, Wesley Snipes decides he's going to go to a museum, you know, because he likes culture and all that. But a black guy at a museum? Oh well, that don't go down too well now, does it? Like, first of all the visitors see him and just fuck off right away, like a bunch of racist cunts. Then they call the cops on him for no reason at all. And who do the cops choose to send? That's right, their most racist fucking super cop. And like, as soon as the cop gets out, he just starts using unnecessary police violence on totally innocent people. Basically, just for the kick of it. Because like I say, he's the fucking bad guy. And like, the cool guy, the guy who just likes a laugh, he's at the museum, and he don't like the tone of some of the displays at all. So he starts expressing that in his own unique way. But oh, that's taking things too far now, isn't it? So the museum send people to kick him out. But our boy only goes and throws them through the fucking window and shoots them in the fucking face. And it's like, yeah, just back the fuck up, would you? I'm trying to enjoy the museum exhibits. And he's just hanging around, having a laugh, cracking jokes and whatever, until the racist cop shows up and tries to fuck him up. And they get into it and shit just gets out of fucking control. They're blasting shit up and firing a fuckload of guns, and then Wesley Snipes bounces the fuck out of there and he runs into our old mate the English guy, and they seem to get along great, like they're good mates, just like I knew they would be, you know? Anyway, the racist cop chases Wesley Snipes off, and then all the cops are like, oh fuck, we gotta get that black guy for sure. And so, like, their whole fucking plan is, and like, I told you they were really shit cops, right? Well, their whole plan is to sit around and wait for another murder to be committed. Not to go out looking for the guy or whatever, just to sit around and wait for Wesley Snipes to kill someone else. Because, in all fairness, he has killed quite a lot of people in this film so far. But he still seems like more of a laugh than the rest of the other bunch of cunts, so I'm still on his side. Him and the snotty English bloke. So, the lazy ass cops decide they're gonna get dressed up fancy and go out for some meal or whatever. And Dennis Leary shows up and like, as if to prove that Stallone is actually the bad guy, he only goes and lets him get a fucking way, doesn't he? Doesn't even try to beat the shit out of him or anything. Lets one of the world's most atrocious comedy thieves just walk off unchallenged. Fuck me. Anyway, then the English guy and Wesley Snipes are all hanging out and they're having a great time and everything. A better time than the racist cop anyway, because he's back at Sandra Bullock's house and they're trying to play video games on Elon Musk's Neuralink. But the thing only goes and gives the cop a fucking seizure, so, you know, you've been warned. Anyway, he pisses off home and watches a video of the English guy and Wesley Snipes being all chummy and friendly, and like, of course, being a racist cop, that really pisses Stallone off, and he just goes fucking nuts. He fronts up to the English guy and shoots the shit out of all his TVs and shit, and then he teleports and threatens the guy directly, puts a fucking gun to his head and everything. But the English guy is cool as fuck, and he's like, nah mate. But like, he's a posh English bloke, so he's probably more like, I think not, old boy. And he just walks off like he don't give a fuck. But that just pisses the racist cop off even more. So he does some more negligent discharge of his firearm and then he goes stomping off in a tantrum like a fucking 4-year-old. And he decides he's going to climb down this fucking hole. And then, like, for some fucking reason, he ends up in Dudley in the West Midlands. And I got no idea how he managed to get to Dudley in the middle of England from California. So I guess he must have teleported again or something. But he goes to Dudley and he speaks to this lady there. And I know that lady. I brought a rat burger off her. She's a really lovely lady. It was a damn good rat burger too. Anyway, he meets Dennis Leary down there. And because he's a fucking scumbag bad guy cop, he only goes and makes friends with him, doesn't he? I mean, it makes you fucking sick. Anyway, from there, we cut back to Wesley Snipes. And of course, as always, he's just been a cool fucking dude, having a great time with his mates, getting fucked up and talking shit about taking over the world. I mean, I really do like this guy, you know? But the racist cop ain't gonna stand for that kind of shit. So he's making plans to go fuck up his little party. So Wesley Snipes gets the drop on him and tries to do him in. But he does a real shit job of it and don't manage to kill anyone at fucking all. So he just pisses off and again, the racist cop just goes fucking nuts. Like smashing up shit and trying to run innocent people down. So they get into a car chase. And the cop tries to pull him over in one of the most aggressive traffic stops you've ever seen. Anyway, long story short, the cop ends up in a giant marshmallow. And while that's going on, it seems Wesley Snipes has gone back over to see that English mate of his. But it turns out he must be one of those old school British or something. Because he starts talking shit about turning the world white like a pearl or something. And so, like, Wesley Snipes is like, nah, mate. And he just blows the fucking shit out of him. And the racist cop turns up because he thought the English guy's idea was a fucking wonderful plan. And so he tries to fuck up Wesley Snipes' revenge. But Wesley Snipes is just too damn cool. And so he grabs the racist cop in this big robot arm and he's swinging him around and shit, having a right good laugh with it. But he's a fucking shit shot and he just can't hit the racist cop with a fully automatic submachine gun at point blank range when the target's been held directly in front of him. And so, I guess, the moral message of this movie is the black community need to learn to become better shots if they ever want to get rid of racist cops. Because right after that, Wesley Snipes gets turned back into a fucking ice cube again. And because Stallone is a racist cop who uses unnecessary police violence, even though he's got him frozen fast and unable to escape, the psycho cop still goes and kicks his fucking head off anyway. So yeah, the bad guy's winning this one. And I don't know what to tell you. Stallone jumps through some iron bars and that's the end of the movie. And I ain't got no fucking idea what to make of it. On one hand, it seems to be warning us about a dangerously woke future, and on the other, it seems to be celebrating needlessly violent racist cops. So, I don't know, go figure or whatever. Either way, it's a weird ass fucking film and I don't ever want to see it again in my life. Stupid fucking movie.